This is the ThinkBook 16 Generation 8 from Lenovo. This is a small business line of laptops that if you're buying a ton of laptops and you want to save 15, 20%, maybe a little bit more depending on the time and the quantity, instead of buying a ThinkPad, you can go with the ThinkBook. You still get quality components, you get good performance, you get that tanky military specified design that meets a certain level, a certain standard that I'll share with you in a moment, but you don't have to pay that full price of the ThinkPad. Specifications on this, okay, this model sells for about $1,235 on sale right now. MSRP is $2,000, but Lenovo, they tend to have frequent sales that are very good, so keep that in mind. You do get a part aluminum, part ABS plastic design, so not the full aluminum of like the Slim series or the Yoga series, or the full ThinkPad design that has a nice finish on the outside with an aluminum chassis. So just keep that in mind. It's not a secret. It's not like this. You're not going to buy a ThinkPad quality laptop at a lower price and they just call it a ThinkBook. Like it's quite a bit different. Okay, this spec, Core 7 248 from Intel, 16-inch WUXGA IPS display. It's 60 hertz only, multi-touch capable, 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's LPDDR5, so the low power RAM. Half a terabyte storage. The storage standard is an M.2 2242. So you'll see in a moment when I show you the inside of the laptop, it may not be you may not have some extra SSDs lying around in this particular form factor. It does have two surprises that come with it. At least I was surprised. There is a fingerprint reader, I'll show you, and there is a physical privacy shutter. I did not expect that, okay? So I will show you all the I/O and I'll make comments on everything, the keyboard, the performance, all that fun stuff, but I do want to open it up, show you what the inside looks like, because if you're watching this, you're likely, well, I shouldn't say likely, you might be in IT and you want to know how easy is this thing to upgrade and some of the differences between this and the ThinkPad. I'll try to answer as much of that as I possibly can. Actually, I should point something out to you. There are 4 screw holes on the bottom, and then you have 2 on the side and 4 more on the top. The bottom 4 are shorter than all the others. Oh, don't worry, I found it. Okay, there you go. So just keep track. If you've opened computers before, you probably do the same thing I do, which is this pattern here on the side. As I take them out, I line them up so that's effectively how I had them, where I pulled them out from. Just keep track of everything. Okay, battery, looks like there's room for more, but this is what we have. Underneath here is our RAM. So 1 stick pre-installed, that's the 16 gigs, it's low power. There's your Wi-Fi card. Over on the other side, I don't want to rip it too much, but there is another RAM stick slot, an SO-DIMM right there. This is your storage right here, 0.5 terabyte. And it looks like that if we were to remove this screw, let me see if I can do that for you, we might have access to another one. Okay, 1 second. Okay, no, that's strictly to secure it. So you don't have access to another one. Oh, the screw just came out. That's why most people don't do these things live. Well, as long as sparks aren't flying, I'm probably okay. Just a moment. There we go. Try one more time to pull this up. Yeah, I can see underneath it, so you don't have another spot for an SD storage. So it would have been nice with this open space, since they decided not to make it with a larger battery, if they just had another SD slot, that'd be good. Or here is another place where they could have put one, I think. But again, if you want all the features, all the upgradability, you go for a T series or a P series ThinkPad. All right, that's about it. There is a fan right here that you've probably been staring at for the last 2 minutes while I fumbled around. Our speakers here at the bottom, and that's your machine. Okay. Put this back in place, just a second. What a lovely sound, isn't it? Okay, I think I got it all. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I mentioned a couple of surprises. So one of them being the camera shutter. I didn't see this. I didn't see this until I started taking the bottom part off. This is your shutter right there. So that's good. Also, this branding is awesome. I've been saying this for years. When Lenovo takes the time to etch into the metal their brand, I think it's really cool. It's a small touch, but imagine if that were blank. It would just look so bare. I like that. All right, let's open this sucker up. Not a one-hand open. The hinge is so tight that I don't expect it's going to become a one-handed open over time. I think you got what you got here, but it's not the end of the world. It was not a full one-handed open. All right, I'm cutting in on the video at some point because I completely forgot to talk about the I/O, and that would be bad. All right, so LED status light, a microphone, headphone combo audio jack. Thunderbolt is here, all right? See the little logo? You get your Thunderbolt 4. Full-size HDMI and a USB-A port, and then your charging USB-C port, which you can also do data from, but this is where you charge. So the included charger is tiny, I think. It's pretty small right here, and it's USB-C based. So no proprietary charger on this one. On the right-hand side, a full-size micro SD card reader, full-size SD card reader. It can read micro too with an adapter. USB-A, Ethernet, right? Expandable Ethernet. Expandable meaning this expands. And then your Kensington lock. I apologize. And then back to the regular video. Okay, here's your keyboard deck. It's a very good keyboard, but it's a little bit more on the mushy side compared to something like a ThinkPad. Does have a full number pad. You get a nice backlighting that hopefully you can see right now. I'm gonna turn some lights off, make it a little bit easier on you. Well, the keys will come back on here in a second. A very small trackpad, especially relative to all this open space. And it's, it's okay. It feels like glass. It's responsive enough. You're not playing games with it. Okay, fingerprint reader. Look at that. I was so surprised. There's no logo identification or anything. There was a sticker on it that I took off. So if you're in IT and you're setting this up and you're giving it to a user, you might want to leave the sticker there or just let them know that if your business supports it, that there is a fingerprint, some biometrics you can use. And for passkey, which is becoming more and more common these days, it's really helpful for the users to have that there. Really not much else to say about the keyboard deck other than there is 3-stage backlighting, so low, high, and off. And hopefully that came through. It's hard to tell. I can't see the camera as I'm recording because, I don't invest in all that. The display does go all the way flat. Let's take a look at it. There is a matte coating on this, so it's not quite as reflective as something like a MacBook, or there are many Windows laptops that also have glass screens. So yeah, not super reflective, but like I mentioned, it is touch compatible, so you can just press on edge. Well, look here, see? Proof that it is touch compatible. I'm not sure why this isn't activating. Looks like it's just slow to load. Hear those fans ramping up? Yeah, that's right. Those fans are ramped up, man. Very normal in my usage of this. But opening your PDFs, opening up Word, Office, any kind of Microsoft application, it's pretty responsive. Opens instantly, especially after you've gone through the initial sign up with Microsoft Office, and it's a pleasant little machine to use. The screen does not get very bright, and it's, at 60 Hertz, it's not very responsive, but if you're docked, big deal, right? You go Thunderbolt docking station to a monitor with an external keyboard, and a lot of these kind of complaints go away. If you need that power that you get from the H series processors, then this makes a ton of sense, right? Versus those thinner ThinkPads. Like, I love the Carbon. As soon as I can, I'm buying a Carbon, probably the Gen 13, maybe the 14 if I have to wait a bit longer. But yeah, that those laptops aren't as powerful as this. I should also mention on the display, I said the brightness is low. It's about 300 nits is the rating. Well, it's exactly 300 nits is the rating. I don't know if it is 300 nits or if it's 320 or 295 or whatever, but it just doesn't get very bright. Also, the resolution is 1920 by 1200. If you're doing Excel and the like, that's probably fine. You can always zoom out. You can go into your display settings and change those so that you see more of the screen. Let me just show you where that is right here. 125 is the recommended scale. Drop it to 100. Now you'll see more cells in Excel, but the resolution is the resolution. But honestly, if you're not gaming, do you really need more? Like, I'm 41 and I'm at a point now where I sometimes zoom in, especially if I'm in Excel. If I'm in my Word documents, where like there's just nothing happening on the left and right 25% of the screen, I'll zoom it in so I can see a solid like 30 words per screen, just because as you get older, right? That's just life. Okay, battery life, I would expect it's gonna be around 6 to 7 hours, but I haven't tested it yet. If we go into the battery settings, there's a 30-minute estimated remainder. I don't know if that's coming through. That's not accurate. I can tell you right now, you're gonna get way more than 30 minutes, and you can change your power mode. So if we go function L, nope. Windows L, it'll lock. That's right. Q, nope. Function Q. Okay, now we're in quiet mode. Fans are ramping down. It's more peaceful. If I heard this 24/7, I wouldn't be super happy. That's better. I'd say we're about 25 decibels. Hey, that's not bad. It's starting to respond. That's pretty good. Okay, so Lenovo has their Vantage application, and I like it. Hey, it may not be for everybody, but I think generally speaking, it does its job. You can adjust the battery settings, performance settings. If you have one of the Copilot AI-enabled laptops, you're gonna have some AI settings as well. I use Vantage on my Lenovo Legion desktop all the time because when I'm just using it for light work or whatever, browsing, I don't want the fans ramped up. So I'll go in there and I'll change some settings around, make sure it adapts. Now, I'm not quite sure why Vantage hasn't loaded. I've ran it before, but eventually it'll get there. It'll catch up with us, I promise. So, all right, that's the ThinkBook 16 Generation 8. You get a good keyboard, a decent trackpad, a subpar display, but you get the military specifications. You get a powerful 16-inch laptop with a sturdy chassis and the military standards at an affordable price. You do get the touchscreen, which I often don't like to use, but since this is a matte display, it's not gonna bother me as much. It's just that, when you rub your finger on glass, it's kind of uncomfortable. And also I think it won't look very good over time. But with this, you can just kind of wipe it down. It'll be easier to clean than anything else. And we won't be testing Outlook since Outlook has had some problems lately. And I don't want to fire that part up. Okay, that's your ThinkBook. You get the fingerprint reader, you get your privacy shutter, which should be required on every single computer ever made. And I like it overall. So thanks to Lenovo for sending this over. Link in the description is not monetized. And if you have questions, let me know. I'll hang on to this for a little while longer before I send it back to Lenovo. Thanks everyone, cheers.